that. And you've got bolt up the top, up there. You've got a bolt or nut thing down there behind there, which is the bitch one. And you've got one last one up the top there, just below that pipe. I'm going to spray it with some penetrating spray, just to make sure that it's looser to get out. Right, to get in there, you need to make your own tool. This is a ball-ended Allen key, CRV5 it says on it. I'd say get a selection pack, find out which one fits. Grind off the end and grind it down so it fits into a 4.5mm socket. There you go. Bang it in. That's not coming out of there. Your best bet is to buy the miniature socket set, because you get a miniature extension bar. I've got this mini one because you needed that little bit extra length. The long one, obviously you got the socket, and then another one. So then that way it can go in and reach. So to get it onto the top, the one that's at the bottom, sorry, you need to have it on the longest one and the socket. Get it, it's quite fiddly. But you pop it in there at an angle, it should pop in. Is that in there? That is in there. Right, so that is in. Then add the other extension bar onto it there. Obviously I've already loosened it, so I don't need to do this, but I just need to show you the rubber mallet. So just get the rubber mallet, make sure it's got a good fit. You can put the extra extension bar on it if you want, but so that's on there. So then, because it's quite loose, you should turn it ever so slightly, because if you do it too hard you will round it out. As you can see, it is turning with quite good ease. And that is pretty much right. Now it's free. Take off the ratchet. Just a little bit tight. Right, that is definitely loose now. Right, so now that is loose. Pop it out and arm in there. No, it is quite tight, but come here, you bastard. And there you go. So as you can see, there isn't much thread on it, so it won't take much to come out. When you're making this tool, I mean, you can buy socketed ones, but because it's such a tight fit, your best bet is to get one of these, and obviously because it's going to be on the housing, you want to be making sure it's round, because obviously once it starts undoing, it'll knock and it'll probably pop out. So I'd say get some sort of grinder. I mean, I've got a bench grinder, grind it down so it's kind of as smooth as you possibly can get it. So then that way, when it's in there, it will just roll on the mount. So once that's in there, you're getting that in at an angle, and it pops in, and that's it, it's in there, and you'll turn. If you don't have this sort of thing in there, and you try just using a normal Allen key, you will round this out, and you'll have a whole lot of trouble. They're all off. As you can see, it is all loose. Right, you've got a metal hanger here. It's got like a little elbow, which this ST has got the uprated boost valve. So obviously this notch here lips into it. So obviously that you can, if you've got the original one. I mean, I've never used these, so I don't know how easy they are to unclip, but you could unclip the boost valve so it's out of the way, but you can, you know, just move around it. But because this one, it's been put on, it's going to make it a little bit difficult. But basically, so you've got this housing is on top of the old recirc valve. The hose is just literally popped on. There's no clips, no nothing to hold it on. So you literally, it is a bit fiddly, but that's that off. You need to get the hose off of the recirc, which is a nightmare. So I'll probably have to go underneath, but as you can see there, so this is the old ones. So the old ones are really crap. Once your car is, you know, doing any more power than what was stock, they will give out. They are just plastic. They're not even held together. So as you can see, you got the top, you got the little black spring or whatever it is inside, and then you got this bottom bung, and then that's the opening. So this is your old one. As I say, the spring's under there somewhere, but yeah, it's just quite cheap and crap. So then you're going to get your new one. Make sure it's got those on. If it hasn't got the seals, you're going to be in trouble. So make sure when you put it on, it doesn't fall out. When you put it back onto the housing, so obviously your boost solenoid goes on there. That goes on there like that. Now you've got to try and remember when you took off the old one what way the hose was. Now our hose is pointing up that way, so we've got to make sure we spin that round, which I'm going to do now. Right, so this is the Forge recirc valve. Now this is a second-hand one, but you've got a yellow spring. This is for the better, like higher performance. You know, it's the best spring to have on it. So make sure that's in there, because I think when you buy these, I think they come with a green, yellow, and a standard silver one. Make sure you use the yellow one. So that just undoes. So then, if you've changed it, do it up, and so that was on there. And as you can see, that is how we need it. Done up tight. So now for the fiddly bit, make sure these are on, and we've got to try and get that in there with this over. Right, so it's all done up pretty much as I can. I have had to adjust this because it was too far up, so I couldn't get this hose, don't know if you can see that, I couldn't get this hose onto it because it was up and hitting here. So I have adjusted it down. I will adjust it down again to make sure this is tight. But now they're all in. I haven't put on, where's it gone? I haven't put this on because it is a bastard to get on. Trying to line that up. I mean, if you take this out, if you've got the patience to take it all off and all that, and you're not in a rush, you might have a bit of better luck. But holding the recirc and that, and trying to get your arm in and put the screws in, it is a bitch. So I decided not to use that. I haven't used it on my car, and I've had the recirc valve on it for about 6-7 months. I've had no issues. All it is there for is to hold on the boost valve. But this boost valve came with the car that my mate bought, and he's had his car for about 9 months, so it's been, you know, hanging, so it doesn't really need to be on there. There's nothing, you know, there's no belts, there's nothing to grab it. It's doing its job. It doesn't need to be hung out of the way. If you're anal and you want to get it on there, then, you know, feel free to have a bit more of a play. You might have thinner arms than I have, but yeah, it's fine without it. So long as they're done up tight, you haven't got any air release, any air gap between the recirc and the actual turbo itself, it'll be fine. So that's now obsolete. Not going to use that. So yeah, I've got it all on there. One other thing that you can buy is one of these. I find that was a little bit easier to get it in and maneuver about, because you've got a little bit of extra room. If you've got a socket on there, it can be a little bit harder. As I say, if you've got this out of the way, you'll have it done in 10 minutes. So as I say, make sure you got it in there. That's in at an angle. That's your worst one. It's in, and that's tight. That's not going to come out. It's tight. I'm not going to overdo that, because if it skips and we do have to want to take it off at any point, we'll round it. That one's already tight. So the one at the top, again, it is a little bit hard. You do have to maneuver around this. So we'll get through here. Where is it? It's up there. It's finding the best way to get to it, which I'm having difficulty right now because I'm trying to show you. Move that pipe out of the way. Can't see anything there. Oh, I've gone straight past it. As you can tell, I'm quite new to doing these videos. So, right, so that's on there now. We'll tighten that, so I don't know if you can see it, but it is spinning slightly, so we're going to keep tightening, until and that's tight. Get that off. Right. One thing I didn't say, as I say, you might find it easier with this off, but if you're not taking this off, this bit is a guide, well, it's a kind of a cover for over your gator. It literally clips through here and underneath this. I find it easier to take it off, because when it is in there, I'm not going to clip it back on yet because we're not quite, not quite finished, but it goes on there, and it's, it is kind of in the way, especially when you're trying to get through this gap. So it literally clips off the bottom or off the top, depending on how easy you find it. It can be a pain, but it just clips off, slides out, and then you can make sure you put it on afterwards. Right, and now I'll go back to tightening that one up. So go through there. That is in, and oh, that's loosening. Tighten it up. Yeah, that was tight. Yeah, so I don't need to touch that. Cool. Alright, so they're all tight. And then we're going to tighten this back up. If you find that it's on here and it is in the wrong direction, if you get a long screwdriver and put it between, because this is a metal pipe, put it between there, just give it a little bit of pressure, it will release it. If you go down with this and try and hold this, you can manually, without moving the actual piped bit, you can tighten it up with that. But I've already tightened it up, so all I need to do now is literally push that back up in the direction I want it to. Without going too far, let's put this hose back on, wherever it's gone. Where's it gone? Right, and now that is all done up. Hose is on. It's up tight. This is the guard that I was talking about, if I can get a good picture. It literally just clips in at the top, but as I was saying, it kind of gets in the way, especially when you try and do that bottom one. You've got this in the way, you've got that in the way. With the bottom one, you kind of go through here and then on top of this ridge and then straight in. And that's how you get to that bottom bastard. So yeah, that is all done, and it probably took me about 25-30 minutes, if that.